The Tennessee Titans made their choice, and with it, clarified exactly where their priorities lie as they try to escape the NFL's basement. By hiring Robert Saleh as their next head coach, the franchise is signaling that the Cam Ward era is not over. Not even close, but it is entering a critical and defining phase. Tennessee didn't draft Cam Ward number 1 overall in the 2020-25 NFL draft to be patient indefinitely. They expected growing pains, but they also hoped to see flashes of immediate stardom, something closer to what Jaden Daniels delivered in Washington. Instead, what they got looked far more like Caleb Williams' rookie season in Chicago. Raw talent, erratic execution, and a quarterback overwhelmed by structure, pressure, and circumstance. That reality cost Brian Callahan his job. Fired after just 6 games, Callahan became collateral damage in a season that quickly spiraled once it became clear Ward wasn't ready to elevate a deeply flawed roster on his own. The Titans front office knew the stakes. If Ward fails, the entire rebuild fails with him. That made this head coaching hire less about pedigree and more about alignment with a long-term vision. Robert Saleh now becomes the steward of that vision. Saleh arrives in Nashville with a resume that is both compelling and complicated. His reputation was built in San Francisco, where he coordinated one of the NFL's most feared defenses and helped guide the 49ers to Super Bowl live. His 4-year run as defensive coordinator there established him as one of the league's elite defensive minds, capable of maximizing talent, building identity, and demanding accountability. His tenure as head coach of the New York Jets, however, was uneven. Saleh went 20-36 and was fired 5 games into the 2024 season. Injuries, quarterback instability, and a revolving door on offense all played roles, but the results ultimately mattered more than the explanations. After his dismissal, Saleh spent the rest of that season as a consultant with the Green Bay Packers before returning to Kyle Shanahan's staff in 2025. That return wasn't seamless either. The 49ers defense, ravaged by injuries to Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, finished 20th overall, though they remained solid against the run. It wasn't Saleh's best year statistically, but it reinforced a familiar theme in his career. He can stabilize chaos even when the ceiling is capped by personnel. That skill set may be exactly why Tennessee targeted him. Cam Ward's rookie season was, by almost every measurable standard, discouraging. He completed just under 60% of his passes, threw 15 touchdowns against 7 interceptions, and absorbed a league-high 55 sacks. Some of that falls squarely on a disastrous offensive line, but Ward also struggled with pocket awareness, timing, and processing speed. Too often, he held the ball too long, drifted into pressure, or relied on athleticism instead of anticipation. The advanced numbers paint an even bleaker picture. Ward finished near the bottom of the league in completion percentage, passer rating, QBR, and passing yards per game. Pro Football Focus graded him 39th out of 43 qualifying quarterbacks. For a number 1 overall pick, that's alarming, and yet the flashes were undeniable. Ward's arm talent is real. When plays broke down, he occasionally turned chaos into opportunity, escaping pressure and firing lasers downfield with effortless velocity. Those moments hinted at a quarterback who could be special if everything around him, coaching, protection, scheme, finally aligned. That's where the Titans are placing their bet. The league has repeatedly shown how dramatically a quarterback's trajectory can change with the right coaching hire. Caleb Williams looked lost as a rookie, then took a massive leap once the Bears hired Ben Johnson, turning Chicago into a division champion in year 2. Jared Goff went from overwhelmed rookie to Pro Bowl passer once Sean McVay arrived in Los Angeles. Quarterback development is rarely linear, and year 2 is often where the real evaluation begins. The challenge for Tennessee is that Saleh is not an offensive coach. Unlike Johnson or McVay, Saleh's background is on defense. That doesn't doom Ward's development, but it does place enormous importance on Saleh's first major decision in Nashville, his offensive coordinator. The Titans cannot afford a conservative hire or a placeholder. They need an architect, someone who can simplify the game for Ward, build confidence, and design an offense that leans into his strengths rather than exposing his weaknesses. Saleh's leadership style will also matter. One of his strengths has always been culture building. His teams play hard, they're disciplined, they don't quit. That alone would represent progress for a Titans roster that has looked disjointed and overmatched for 3 straight seasons. But culture alone won't fix Tennessee's deeper issues. Even if Ward improves significantly in year 2, the Titans are nowhere near contention. The offense was among the league's worst in 2020-25, averaging just 16.7 points per game. Tony Pollard was the lone bright spot, the only player to surpass 1,000 yards. The receiving core was barren. Tight end Chigozie Okonkwo led the team with just 560 receiving yards. Rookie Elik Ayamanor showed flashes, but lacked consistency. No wide receiver consistently threatened defenses. The offensive line was a catastrophe, leading the NFL in sacks allowed. No quarterback, rookie or veteran, can thrive under those conditions. Fixing that unit must be a priority, especially with the Titans holding the 4th overall pick in the upcoming draft. The defense wasn't much better. Jeffrey Simmons continued to play at an elite level, and rookies Vondre Sweat and Cedric Gray provided some optimism. But beyond those 3, the unit lacked difference makers. According to PFF, nearly every other defensive starter graded out below average. The result was a defense that ranked 28th in points allowed, routinely putting the offense in impossible situations. Saleh inherits a roster that is deeply flawed on both sides of the ball. Turning it around won't be quick and it won't be easy. But the Titans do have one asset that changes everything. A no. 1 overall quarterback pick still on his rookie contract. That's why this hire matters so much. Saleh doesn't need to turn Tennessee into a playoff team overnight. He needs to stabilize the franchise, establish an identity, and above all else, unlock Cam Ward. If Ward becomes a legitimate franchise quarterback, many of the Titans' other problems become manageable. If he doesn't, none of the rest will matter. The 2026 season will be about progress, not results. About growth, not wins. About seeing whether Ward looks more like the overwhelmed rookie from 2025 or the quarterback Tennessee believed they were drafting. Robert Saleh has been given one of the hardest jobs in the league, but he's also been given one of the league's most valuable opportunities. The Titans are betting that his leadership, structure, and vision can give Cam Ward the reset he desperately needs. If it works, this hire will be remembered as the turning point. If it doesn't, Tennessee may soon find itself starting over once again, this time without excuses. The Tennessee Titans made their choice, and with it, clarified exactly where their priorities lie as they try to escape the NFL's basement. By hiring Robert Saleh as their next head coach, the franchise is signaling that the Cam Ward era is not over. Not even close, but it is entering a critical and defining phase. Tennessee didn't draft Cam Ward number 1 overall in the 2020-25 NFL draft to be patient indefinitely. They expected growing pains, but they also hoped to see flashes of immediate stardom, something closer to what Jaden Daniels delivered in Washington. Instead, what they got looked far more like Caleb Williams' rookie season in Chicago. Raw talent, erratic execution, and a quarterback overwhelmed by structure, pressure, and circumstance. That reality cost Brian Callahan his job. Fired after just 6 games, Callahan became collateral damage in a season that quickly spiraled once it became clear Ward wasn't ready to elevate a deeply flawed roster on his own. The Titans front office knew the stakes. If Ward fails, the entire rebuild fails with him. That made this head coaching hire less about pedigree and more about alignment with a long-term vision. Robert Saleh now becomes the steward of that vision.